guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with 3.7, equations of a line in a coordinate plane. Equations of a line. So this is definitely a review from algebra last year. And the first thing we're going to talk about is slope. The symbol we use for slope is m. And what slope is it's the ratio of vertical change, your y, what goes up and down, to your horizontal change, x, which goes left and right. Sometimes you refer to that as the steepness of a line. The equation for that is rise over run. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The change in y over the change in x. The next thing we'll talk about is slope-intercept. And that is the equation of a non-vertical line. So the equation is y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. And then we move into point slope form. This one you may or may not have gone over last year. It's an equation for a non-vertical line also, but it looks a little different. It's y minus y1 or y sub 1 equals m, your slope, times x minus x1. And just over here written in pink is kind of a side note that I want to point out to you guys. M is your slope, and the x1 and the y1 are any point on that line. So you can choose any point, or they can give you a point, and you would just plug it in where the y1 is and the x1 is. We leave this y and this x alone. We only plug it into the y with the little 1 next to it and the x with the little 1 next to it. So let's look at our example. Write the equation of a line with the points -2, -1, and 3, -5. So we want to write the equation of a line. Right, what we're going to start with is we're going to start by finding the slope. So with these 2 points, I'm going to go ahead and find the slope. I'm going to take my y, 5, and subtract my other y, -1. So 5 minus -1, and that will give me a 6. Remember, 2 negative signs make a positive. And then my x, 3 minus -1. And again, 2 negatives make a positive. So I now know that my slope is 6/5, or 6 over 5. So I found my slope. That's the first step to writing the equation of the line. And now I'm going to put it into point slope form. So here's my equation for point slope. Y minus y sub 1 equals m, your slope, times x minus x sub 1. Alright, so I went ahead and chose this point to plug in. It doesn't matter. I could have chose this point. Either is fine, but I did y minus 5 equals 6/5 times x minus 3. Alright, and that's what we did. Okay, so whenever you see something like this, a vertical line, x equals 3, you want to picture it graphed, right? So if I were to graph this, and I had my little graph here over to the side, and it was x equals 3. Remember, this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. And I would go over 1, 2, 3 and plot my point. I just wanted to graph it. Alright, it just goes straight up and down. Alright, and you always want to think that your slope is undefined. And the way I kind of remember that is I think it can make a U for undefined. And then over here, a horizontal line, y equals 0. Again, I would just pencil in another little graph to give me a visual reference. And I would take my y equals 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plot it here, and I would draw my line. And then, what's my slope? Oh, well look, I can go ahead and make a z right here. A z for 0 and a u for undefined. And that's 3.7, guys.